You RSVP to that dinner party and now you just need to bring something, but not just anything, and definitely not these things.
Do you break into a sweat with even the thought of having company? I'm here to help. After trying just a few of my hosting tips, you'll be more than ready to say, come on over.
Here are 5 things you should never, ever, ever bring to a dinner party. And you want to stick around for the 5th one because it may be enlightening. Number 1, your own condiments. Okay, now you may be one of those people who thinks ketchup goes on everything, or mustard, or maybe you need to dip in mayo or some sort of dipping sauce, or you've got these little packets you need to use up in your purse, or maybe Chick-fil-A's secret sauce goes with everything.
Oh, I'm in love with Chick-fil-A.
And you may not be wrong with those thoughts, but a dinner party at someone else's house is not the time for that, and here's why. Your host spent a lot of time whipping up a menu with Food Network-like precision. And if you show up with your own condiments, what you're saying is, your food is not good enough for me.
It tastes like feet.
You don't want to do that. Let's not do that. You know why? Because it will never be good enough for you ever again, and you won't get invited back. So let's not do that. Let's not bring that. All right, another idea. Leftovers. Maybe you didn't notice last night when you cooked a meal that it was serving size 12 and there were just 2 of you, and so now you have 10 extra servings that you think, I'll just, bring them and I'll dump them in a dish. No, don't do that. You know why? Because those are leftovers. They're left over from a previous meal. They're not fresh. They could be soggy. They could be dry. Not all things sit up well in leftover containers. What you can do instead is, if you know you're going to a dinner party and there is a large recipe, is that you can take half of that recipe, or you could even double the recipe. You make half of it that night for your dinner, and then you set aside the other half that you will actually bake or cook or finish off the next night for that party. So it's fresh, it's all assembled, but you're going to finish it off. That's perfectly fine. You bring it in a beautiful dish and serve it around. But leftovers will only go home with you. Why? Because they were leftover in the first place.
Because some of y'all don't think you supposed to throw the leftovers away. At some point, the leftovers got an expiration date on them.
Something else you should never, ever, ever bring to a dinner party are the unassembled ingredients for a dish. Why? Because your host has commandeered the kitchen. She's throwing the party. He's throwing the party. You are not supposed to march into their kitchen with your baking dish, and you know what? Not even if you didn't have time after work. Not even if you didn't have time to really shop for the ingredients ahead of time. Not even if you picked up the ingredients on the way to the party. No, don't do that, because you may not commandeer the oven where something is already baking or cooking. You may not commandeer the stovetop where something else is already boiling or simmering. You may not commandeer the cooking utensils, the bowls, the spoons, none of that. You could even bring your own utensils. Nope, don't do that. If you are not able to bring an already assembled and ready to serve dish, then just pick up something on the way. Pick up takeout from a restaurant, something that they're known for, their specialty. Go to a deli. Even a grocery deli has great stuff that you can serve on the side.
Need a little of the quinoa salad, please, and throw a couple extra cranny bees on top if you could, and kind of need you to hurry up, Chief. Chop, chop. Next.
You might even introduce everyone at that party to a great new side dish from a great new restaurant. All right, something else you should never take to a party, and I'm probably going to get some pushback on this, but that is your pet. You are never, ever, ever to take a pet, your pet, to someone else's party. Why? Well, first of all, they may already have a pet that is territorial. This is their house. This is their zone. They have marked their territory. Your pet is not going to be welcome in a territorial pet house. Also, there may be other guests at that party who are wildly allergic to dogs. And I know what you're thinking, well, I have a hypoallergenic dog. Well, that may be true, but did you know people are allergic to dog saliva? So one lick from that dog on skin can cause a giant rash. And you don't want to be that guest who thoughtlessly brought a pet to a party, even if the invitation said +1. This is not your +1. It's not. Don't do it. Instead, get a pet sitter or leave your pet at home. Give them a little bit of alone time. Maybe they have a special TV show they'd like to watch without you. Take them up on that. And finally, something you should never, ever, ever bring to a party is a special ingredient. And by special, I mean THC. Yes, I know it's completely screaming hilarious when in the movies someone brings those special brownies and they don't tell anybody. Everyone's politely sampling and the next thing you know, they're delirious. Ha ha ha. Okay, also funny if someone brings these special chocolates and they're passing them around and everyone's politely and then or a special gummy bear and people are like flashing back to the 80s and they're, no, don't do that. Why? Because newsflash, those people drove to the party. That means they will have to drive home. And I'm pretty sure they didn't bring enough bail money for that arrest that's about to happen. I don't think they want to be the next guest star on Cops. I don't think they want to be dealing with an accident on the way home. And by the way, this is oregano. If you want to add that to your dish, you may.
You scared the cuss out of us!
So those are 5 things you definitely should not bring to a party. But I did do a whole episode on things you should bring to a party or you could bring, and we'll link that episode down below. Bringing the right thing to a party will virtually guarantee you the #1 spot on the next guest list. And you might just introduce your guest. They're not your guests. They're the guests. The #1 guest slot on the very next party. Party list.
Come on over. Now go make someone feel special today.